Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Overwatch PIT Championship. This is EU Group B, the final day, day 5 here with Sideshow Gaming. I am CT Hirix. How do you feel about this matchup? We talked about it a little bit before the break between Movistar Riders and X Alternate Attacks. Now we know the map is going to be starting things off here on Volskaya Industries. We will see X Alternate Attacks going with the attack or with the defense first. Movistar Riders attacking. What do you make of this particular map?
Pretty interesting one. Alternate Attacks looked reasonable on it when they played it before. So did Movistar Riders, actually. They both have similar styles. They've both got the ability to play really good offenses. We'll see how they work with the defense and see where they set up, because that's going to be an interesting battle as well. This game doesn't really affect their standings or their seedings in the tournament. Alternate Attacks are already out, but if they manage to win this one, no, they're still in last place either way, actually. But they have performed really well against the other teams. It's been like hammers. They've played super close. They just haven't been able to actually clinch the wins when it mattered. They're definitely a team to watch in the future, though.
So going into this matchup right now, I mean, just in terms of stat lines for this particular map, we're seeing Volskaya, Movistar Riders 2-0 on Volskaya. Definitely looked solid. The last two times we saw them, they were able to take out Dignitas on day one, which certainly looked good in their favor. I mean, they basically just murdered out Misfits defense, who weren't able to really get anything going. And then yesterday against Singularity, able to shut down a team that was on the rise, I would say, throughout this group stage. We haven't seen Volskaya, at least from Alternate Attacks, at least from my notes. I don't think we've seen them at all. So for me personally, I think that Movistar Riders should be at a little bit of an advantage going into this one. Obviously, like you said before, I tend to agree that X Alternate Attacks does look pretty good on the attacking side, and certainly that does mean a lot going into Volskaya, because of course, being able to understand, how the ult economy works and everything like that. And I got you in a little bit of a... Oh, no, you're just making that face. You were making a face like you just didn't agree with anything I was saying for a second.
No, sorry. I'm reading these players just going off in the chat, just talking about some nonsense. I thought they were talking about the map or something that was happening, but they're literally just talking nonsense. It was distracting me.
It's been a little bit of a long day for a long series of days for these players. I mean, 5 days in a row of playing, and now it's coming to a close today. And surely, by the end of the day, we will know who the teams are that are going to the playoffs. I mean, we pretty much already know statistically at this point who are going to be going through. But nonetheless, still got some great matches, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we got between these two teams. Again, I think Movistar Riders should be able to take this one. How do you feel, just as a last final prediction here going into this next matchup?
Yeah, I think they're definitely favored on the map. I think it's going to come down to which team can convert on B. It's always the big struggle on Volskaya, isn't it? But in general, both teams have looked good on attack, so I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to end up.
So we will see more than likely a dive composition coming out here from the side of X Alternate Attacks, my apologies, as that's been a consistent pick for them. And on the side of the defense, we actually see something interesting here. I'm not sure if they actually want to go at this, because this is that is the attacking side here. We do have Neptuno going back over to the Elusio here, and we will see more than likely a dive coming out for them, but we'll have to see if they stick with that, because Kolsty obviously will more than likely be on the Winston or something like that, and we'll see Finzi picking either a tank, or, I mean, he could go for a tank. We have seen that from them. Or he could go for something like a tracer as well. We'll have to see. What do you expect from the attacking side here?
They do like to run the triple DPS dive, but they've got a lot of flexibility within their roster and their players. They've even tried on Numbani, they tried that solo support attack, which I don't think was particularly working, but Dante can play the DPS heroes as well. Looks like they're going to be going with this triple DPS dive. The setup from Alternate Attacks, X-Alternate Attacks on the defense is very flexible and mobile as well, so they'll be moving around the map trying to find that single first pickoff.
We will see X Alternate Attacks looking for an opportunity to just dive onto something here, and Vision trying to get spacing a little bit in the back here, and diving forward should be Kolsty in just a moment here, as he is looking for a target to do that on. Very slow aggression coming out from Movistar Riders. I mean, actually no aggression at all, I guess I should say, as we do see Colsey jumping on the point, Decode trying to contest that, and he actually gets sent back as Dante getting taken down dangerously low, almost taken down completely here as Colsey does indeed die off, and it seems as though the defensive side should... Oh, actually, never mind. Things are turning around a little bit, but Nex actually with a nice kill, Cranks to follow up. X alternate attacks definitely looking poised to make this defensive hold, but Talus getting booped off there by Neptuno, and a little bit of a battle of the boops there, but nonetheless, X alternate attacks does indeed back them up. Minute off the clock here for the side of the fence.
Nex is doing a good job at really focusing down Colsey. That's one of the ways that you can effectively shut down this triple DPS dive, is focusing the tank immediately, but they're straight in onto Envision here. He's taken the nano boost as well from Ruby. Hasn't got his tactical visor, but he's building that one up as he's doing a lot of damage across the point at long range with this height advantage.
I think, honestly, for X alternate attacks, I've been saying this all throughout the tournament, just given his performance in the open qualifier, that he's been a stellar performer for this particular team, especially, or actually in particular, on the Ana, and a nice little nano boost actually there onto Envision not only gives him the damage reduction that he needs to stay alive, but also finds a little bit of damage and a little bit of some damage of his own from his primary fire to find the kill there onto Finzi to kind of push them back a little bit, and I think almost single-handedly Ruby was there able to make the play to make that defense, but still things aren't finished up here. Sound barrier coming out now from Talus as Envision looking for an opportunity here to go ahead with his tac visor, and it actually is going to be Finzi coming up with his first. They find 3 kills to open up the site a little bit. Nexus trying to jump in his face, but he gets taken out of his mech, and Movistar Riders now with control on point. We're seeing healing coming out onto Envision, but not enough as Colsey finds that kill, and it should be Movistar Riders coming up with this first objective here with about 1:30 as that time, and they will be able to get that extra 4 minutes there, 5:30 on the clock for them to run through with, but they don't have any ultimates to work with to try to take this second objective.
Yeah, they used almost all of them apart from the Primal Rage to take that first point. It was a really good defense actually by X alternate attacks. They were able to react to wherever the dive was going, try and protect Envision most of the time. It's about the last person to die in that push, and they've got 3 ultimates up of their own. Logic's going for the flank here, seeing if he can pick off... If he gets a single pick clip onto Ruby, he snuck up behind him but couldn't quite be able to get that one, but they're going to go for the initiation anyway, see if they can get ults out of X alternate attacks.
Cranks actually with a nice nano boost onto his Dragon Blade there, finding 2 kills to start things out, but he is getting contested by the Winston. Gets some heals though, but is still taken out by Colsey nonetheless, and they find that pick, but ultimately not going to really amount to too much there as they're backed off of the point. Frank should be able to come back in here, and still, I mean, things are certainly getting close here for Movistar Riders, but they don't have everything coming up quite yet, so they won't be able to engage with the type of aggression I think that they're looking for, and they won't be able to really kind of come in with a lot of firepower. I think they really want to be able to get a little bit more poke damage off to be able to get this ult charge that they need to go into this next fight.
Logix is doing the exact same thing again, sneaking up on Tracer, waiting for the clip as Colsey jumps forward. He's going to get the clip onto Envision, puts down the pulse bomb, misses Talus just by a fraction of an inch, but it's a fairly good initiation from them. So much damage out onto everybody here from X alternate attacks, and they need to start picking them off as they come back into recontest one by one.
So an Envision does try to get control of high ground, and basically gets eliminated almost immediately there. Cranks is going to die off. We see the tac visor coming out from Finzi. That should be able to find these kills for sure. It's Tally drops as well as Ruby. Nex is out of mech now. Does get eliminated as well. Decode, the only person on the point, back in the corner, about to get bullied, but Primal Rage is going to be able to help him contest a little bit longer here. They're just trying to take as much time as possible because certainly Movistar Riders should be able to come out with this one. We do see Cranks coming out with the nano boost, not able to do anything with it. Talus jumping on the point with the sound barrier. They are desperate here to try to get as much time as possible off of this clock. Next, right now, out of mech. Tal is going to be dealt with pretty soon as Swoosh just swooshes himself in and finds that kill with the dash and a nice little melee hit as well. And it should be now, with this last kill onto Cranks, should be it. But the Dragon Blade coming out, they still find that kill, and with 3:09 remaining, they do get control of that second objective.
Really well played from Movistar Riders, just to be able to great focus fire. You know, as soon as a player comes in from X alternate attacks, they pick them off. A lot of damage coming out from the triple DPS composition, but I feel like there was a mistake there from the defenders when they tried to repel a non-ultimate push with a nano blade. That's two of your most impactful ultimates, being used to repel a push when there was nothing invested from Movistar riders. So the ult economy leaves a little to be desired there from Exalted Attacks and sets them up for failure in the following push. But overall, really well executed from Movistar riders on their attack, and they finished with 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
And I think that's a big reason as to why we see Exalted Attacks actually doing so well on the attacking side, but falling short a little bit on the defensive. And it really kind of comes down to ult usage. And you see stuff like that, exactly what you just mentioned, where they're utilizing things when they don't necessarily have to. I mean, you typically see a team like Misfits. We talk a lot about excuse me, how that kind of team is very intelligent about how they use things. They only use what they need, and that's a big reason why they're able to set themselves apart in this group stage here. Whereas Exalted Attacks doesn't really make those same kind of decisions, and it works okay for them on the attack because they know what they want to use to try to establish the control of the point. But on the defensive side, they're using a little bit too much when they don't necessarily have to.
It's much more dangerous on defense if your ult economy isn't great, because you give the opportunity to the attackers to come in at any point. When you're attacking, it doesn't matter if you've expended ultimates. You can wait until yours come back up. When you're attacking, you choose the tempo of when you want to initiate, but not so on defense, and they fall again. And currently looking like they've got a really strange lineup here on their attack. We'll see if that carries through.
We will see that 2-2-2 coming out here for Movistar Riders on the defensive side. Logic's on that Soldier, Swoosh over on the Genji, and we see Colsty and Fenzi on Winston and D.Va respectively here. But Envision on that Widowmaker already looking to try to take some picks here on this high ground. Ooh, gets a nice reflect there from Swoosh, and he's going to be taken out immediately there. And Ruby actually not on the Ana here, going to be going back over to the Zenyatta. They are now trying to just take some quick picks coming out with Envision on that Widowmaker, and he's coming back from the spawn here as Nex right now, just trying to put in some damage, and very, very slow pace so far. They haven't even been able to engage yet with 40 seconds off the clock already here.
Yeah, they absolutely need Envision to hit something with this composition. Whenever they're going to be diving in, they don't have anybody to finish the kills apart from Cranks, and as they go forwards with their single tank, it's going to be more and more difficult unless Envision starts hitting shots, and for the moment he hasn't found anybody. They're playing the sightlines really well and around this Winston bubble.
The good news is that, I mean, the Widow, they are respecting the Widow, but the thing is that they're not going to be able to do anything with it. I mean, Discord coming out onto that Winston, who did jump in, but the Genji should be able to contest Envision, and they're just going to back him up. I think Envision really needs to make a swap. He's just not finding the value in that pick that they need from him to be able to really do anything with it. And we're going to be seeing him switching over to the Tracer now, but really, I mean, a lot of time wasted there with a pick that really didn't do much for them. And I haven't seen Envision actually on the Widow so far throughout this series. I'm not sure why they thought today was a really fantastic day for them to pull that out.
Yeah, you do have a lot of sightlines over on Volskaya, but he was playing from around the choke and around the dumpster truck instead of moving up onto the left-hand side high ground. Might have been able to get some better shots from there, but they were doing a good job, Movistar Riders, of applying pressure from this central health hut that they like to play from, and still being able to jump forward. Now, Primal Rage out from Decode. Tali's really weak, but close to his sound barrier as well. Gets healed up by the Transcendence, and a lot of pressure being exerted here by Swoosh's Dragon Blade.
Swoosh able to find that opening kill, but Nex coming back and finding some kills of his own here with that tactical visor. That's 2 for him and 3 for his team total, as Dante gets picked off as well. And he should be able to wrap back around, get some high ground, and be able to establish himself on the point here along with the rest of the team as Nex comes in and finds that last kill. Fenzi going to be jumping off of the stage here and killing himself off now. But again, just as we saw Movistar Riders, they don't have a lot of ultimates after finally capping out that first point, so they're not going to have that ability to really just roll over point B. I mean, 5:24 on the clock, definitely looking like a similar time here to what Movistars was able to accomplish. So certainly in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes time, we should see them with an opportunity to make a similar attack with a lot of ultimates charged up as we saw Movistar. But do you think they're going to be able to pull that off, or do you think Movistar is going to be able to hold out?
Well, they've moved Decode over to the Reinhardt as well, and he's the in-game caller for them, so definitely his decision to move over to Rein gives them the Earth Shatter to try and close out the fight. Gives them a bit more finishing power in their composition once he gets up there, and they can approach slightly more slowly, but he's going to be pressured super hard.
And we do see Colsty actually getting peppered down by Nex as well, and Nex falls trying to get in onto the high ground, but That's going to be Tala's actually dropping out, and it seems as though Movistar Riders are somehow able to sustain themselves. And look at the healing coming out onto guys like Kolsty here, who were very low, as well as Finzi there, but they were getting healed insanely. I mean, crazy amount of healing coming out onto Kolsty in particular, and they were able to hold out here. Now getting close to that point, I mean, really kind of, not this next fight, but the next one, we're going to be seeing a lot of opportunity for the side of X Alternate Attacks to really kind of push in and make an effort the same that we saw with Movistar Riders. So the timeline is definitely looking pretty similar here between these two teams.
But with their Reinhardt composition, they really have to take room up on the left-hand side. If they just go across the point, there's no way that they've got the engage, because they don't have the Winston anymore, to try and pressure the back line, and Cranks immediately picked off. Decode as well is going to get hammered from the back line. Oh, actually finds the pin onto Finzi. That's unfortunate for the defenders of Movistar Riders, as that pulse bomb takes him out as well. And this fight's starting to look a lot better for X Alternate Attacks.
I'm kind of curious as to why they decided to use so much there. They didn't have all of their options available. We saw actually Logix come alive with a little bit of a nano boost there onto his tac visor, really kind of finding a lot of kills, and they've backed them off now. And not only that, but they've taken out a lot of options, or I guess 3 options in particular here. We see Nex making a swap, we see Ruby making a swap there, and Envision, who does have his pulse bomb coming up pretty soon, so you know, not too much loss there at all, but still, I mean, this is the time when you would have expected, actually, for X Alternate Attacks to really kind of push in and make a big push to actually close it out. But nonetheless, now they're going to be behind in the time bank here going forward.
Making the switch over onto the Ana and the Zarya is a very long-term play as well. They're just aiming to finish the map. They're not too bothered about the time that they have left. Sound barrier used for them. Cranks gets debuffed as well, and the Earth Shatter is actually used. Decode charges in, sees what he can get done, but didn't catch anybody with that Earth Shatter, and Movistar Riders dropping a couple of plays, but trading on the other side, so still looking good because their spawns are so much closer.
And I think finding that kill on the Tracer is a huge impact into this fight, because that's someone who's able to contest very well on a point. With Finzi finding that pick, that's going to be big for them to maybe make a play here. But next, finding the kill on Kolsty, now they just have to rely on Finzi to try to create that space. And they're following up, actually. Swoosh able to find that kill on Next, and pushing back Cranks is the rest of this Movistar squad, and they get them all the way off the point here. Kolsty coming back up from spawn, and now they have that option to go with Logix and Dante here with that nano visor into the next fight.
Yeah, they're starting to get their ultimates up. The ones that they moved over, so they moved Ruby over to Ana to try and get the nano boost up, moved Nex over to Zarya to get their graviton. They used the Earth Shatter in the previous fight, kind of late, didn't catch anybody, but Decode, if he plays aggressively and the fight devolves onto the point, he could get that up for the next pick. It just comes into whether they're able to generate these CC ults quickly enough.
And Tala is actually just jumping in here. Nanovisor coming out. Oh, actually taking out Decode there. And we're seeing a lot of these guys just trying to get away from Logix here. The tac visor goes down and the nano boost to fall with it. As Nex is getting backed up into a corner, we still see control of the point very much in favor of Movistar Riders, as again, we see X Alternate Attacks backed up here on their attacking side. Now just over a minute to work with, and they have a lot of options coming up soon, but Envision getting picked up is actually going to slow things a little bit as well. Certainly this next attack might do well here for X Alternate Attacks, but if Movistar Riders can actually pull back and last long enough for maybe Neptuno to get that sound barrier, they might have a shot here. What are you thinking here, Sideshow?
Yeah, that sound barrier is their saving grace, because otherwise this is do or die for X Alternate Attacks, and they have all of the pieces that they need to be able to pull it off. They can engage with any one of these CC ultimates. They have the Earth Shatter and the Graviton. Cranks with the Nano Blade as well, straight into the backline, picks up Dante, all of the heals taken out of this composition. Finzi falls on the floor as well, immediately taken out of the mech. Great performance so far from Alternate Attacks. It's only Logix left alive, and they're going to start ticking this point up.
And it certainly looks like they're going to be able to take it. We will see the Tracer contest, but not for all too long. He is on the point still. Next, actually, with a nice little play there, coming out with the Graviton Surge as the Maywall comes out as well. And I'm not really sure what that was there. We do see actually cleanup happening from the side of X Alternate Attacks as we see Cranks finding 2 kills, but Tal is killed off there. They might be able to re-engage here with that, and actually Logix picked off right after he used the Tactical Visor. That was really their last-ditch option, I would have to say, to be able to hold on to this. Dante getting pretty close to being killed off as well as he's on the point. Swoosh jumping back in here on the Mei, and they should be able to find that after he comes out of that little block there, and he indeed does get picked off, but still time coming away from X Alternate Attacks as it goes into overtime. This is a big pickup, I would say. Huge for them. Logic's able to push these guys back, finds the kill on the Cranks. They actually trade on each other there as Colsty jumping back in. I mean, Movistar Riders might be able to come back.
Yeah, this fight has definitely turned, and Decold misses his Earth Shatter, gets a Sleep Dart onto Dante as well, but that's going to be a successful defense. And they whiffed that. They had the opportunity, but Nex uses his Graviton like way too early, doesn't find anybody with it really. They don't get the finishing power that you need from a CC ultimate like that. And then Talus dies and comes back in, has his sound barrier up and just uses it like it'll help them kill people. It's a defensive ultimate. It gives you extra shields. It doesn't help you if there isn't a damage output from the spawners who are coming in. It doesn't help you kill them quicker. So kind of wasted that one, and then they didn't have a sound barrier when the fight started going the opposite way. So Movistar Riders stay calm, collected, able to get their spawners out with great stall heroes like the Mei and the Diva, and show that they've got perhaps cooler heads when it comes down to that kind of situation.
And on top of that, I think, I mean, X Alternate Attacks, their, I guess, lack of control of the ultimates certainly played into that one. You talked about Talas in particular, just throwing out that sound barrier to try to give themselves an advantage when they really didn't need that ult at that particular time. And I think that plays into this matchup quite a lot, actually, between these two teams, where Movistar Riders should be able to take this series, in my opinion, because of that fact, almost solely because of that fact, because, honestly, if we're talking about mechanics, X Alternate Attacks is still a very solid team. It really just comes down to the decision-making. I think that really sets them apart, and it's a big reason why right now they're sitting at 0-4 and down one game in their last series.
Yeah, I mean, there's still opportunity for them to come back into it here. I think if they take them over to a control map or possibly Numbani, they might be favored as well, because Movistar Riders looked a little bit iffy on that map, certainly with their point A attack anyway. They've still got an opportunity to come back into this, and they're still staying competitive with a lot of these really good teams like Movistar Riders. But when it comes down to the crunch situations, they're coming up lacking.
Yeah, and it does seem as though X Alternate Attacks wants to come up with Hollywood actually as their next map.
That's
and
surprising.
this is the same thing they did actually against Dignitas, where they lost the first map on Nepal and they brought out Hollywood, and they actually were able to upset Dignitas on that particular map. They were able to come back and actually take that particular map. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to do that, just the same here against Movistar Riders. But we have to remember that Movistar Riders is still very solid on that particular map. We've seen them take it over. They lost it to Dignitas, but they won it over Hammers. And those are the only two sightings that we've seen of this so far. And I'm curious to see if that's going to continue here.
Yeah, that's a really interesting pick. Almost every time we've seen Hollywood be played between two teams like this, where they favor the dive compositions, they're able to complete the map and have a little more difficulty the later it goes, so they end up having not much time on the board, and then struggle with their own defense. But I don't know whether this is the play here.
I think I would have gone for Numbani, personally.
Yeah. I watched the alternate attacks against Dignitas game where Dignitas lost on Hollywood, and I wonder whether it's given them a bit of a false sense that, you know, we beat Dignitas on this map, and Dignitas beat Movistars on this map, so therefore we should be able to beat Movistars on this map.
Which isn't exactly how that works.
No, it's not quite how it works, no.
Nonetheless, on the defensive side here, we will see an interesting composition coming out. Envision actually going to be swapping here. I imagine he's going to be going over to a tank. Not sure, though. He might bring out that second DPS, but with Cranks on the Soldier here. Okay, so he is actually going to go over to Tracer, actually. With Cranks on the Soldier. And on the attacking side here, we are going to be seeing a dive come out with Dante actually on the Zenyatta. Give me your prediction here with the couple seconds left here to talk about it. Give me your prediction. What do you think of this particular map here on Hollywood?
It's going to be a lightning fast offense from Movistar Riders. Triple DPS favored by both teams when they attack Hollywood A. Comes down to whether they can focus down these tanky targets of Decode and Nex, or whether they're just going to hit a hook and be immediately removed from the game.
All right, and that's definitely going to come down to Nex here, and Looking for him to make some plays up against this composition, and we will see things opening up for the attacking side as Colsey looking for an opportunity here to leap in up on this second level at the moment. And Vision already with a kill there onto the opposing Tracer of Logix, and it seems as though Movistar Rider is just going to take this opportunity to back themselves up. Aggression coming out from the defensive side as they're just running straight over that SUV straight through the arches, and they're pulling back now, but already 40 seconds taken out of the time bank with nothing to show for it on the side of Movistar Riders so far.
Yeah, so far Envision had a good ability to back that attack, got the better of the Tracer 1v1, and then was able to harass some people as they decided to leave. They'll have to bring out similarly big players here on the second attack.
Now Colsey once again looking for opportunity. Very slow attack, I would say, so far from Movistar Riders. And man, next with a nice little play there, able to hook out Colsey, and that will shut them down. And we said before how X-Alternate Attacks suffers more often than not on their defensive side. But this time around, they're looking pretty dominant, I would say, at least to start things off here. Ruby with that nano boost at the ready here. Dante coming up with Transcendence pretty soon, and Swoosh definitely looking for an opportunity to try to get that Dragon Blade out. I mean, 2:30 left on the time bank. We do see X-Alternate Attacks certainly being a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, but now the ultimates are coming on the board for Movistar Riders, and they generally look pretty good when they're playing with ultimates in tow. Colsey diving onto Cafe, just setting up, making sure that he's providing a little bit of distraction for the rest of his team, but that pulse bomb onto Neptuno takes so many heals out of the fight that they're going to back off once again. Do you know what? I'm not a big fan of running Zen on the attack here. I don't think the Transcendence is particularly good for taking Hollywood A. I don't think that the lines are great. I think Ana would be better in this composition. You can still run a triple DPS and a dive, and I feel like the Nano Boost is better just for making sure you secure the point.
And not only that, but you also get the added utility of the Biotic Grenade and the Sleep Dart. I have to agree, I think that's the case. Nonetheless, we are going to be seeing them jumping right in. Finzi with a nice opening kill there, but that's going to be traded out as Swoosh gets killed off, and that's going to be big for them, as because, I mean, certainly the Dragon Blade was going to be a big reason why they would have been able to open this one up, and Dante going to be picked up. Oh, he's going to win the fight, despite the fact that we saw actually Cranks with the Tac Visor, and it's Sound Barrier saving that one, and Movistar Riders running in here. Finzi and Swoosh both with their ultimates ready to go. We should see Movistar Riders securing this one, but perhaps an opportunity to re-engage with X-Alternate Attacks looking to do just that. Deco gonna fall though to the Pulse Bomb. 3 kills coming out from Envision there. Or sorry, Logix actually, my apologies.
What an unbelievable pulse bomb. I have no idea how he managed to stick 3 people as they were pushed away, just going through a choke point, kind of weak. They were all backing up, they didn't want to take the same damage, and then boom. 3 of them caught in the same thing. And they saved their Tactical Visor and their just a Dragon Blade for that. So Swoosh and Finzi setting up on the high ground, going to be able to apply a lot of pressure.
And now we will see Movistar Riders, as he said, on that high ground, and certainly looking to try to make the most of these 2 ultimates here. We'll have to see how they want to use them, because of course the Nano Boost is ready from Ruby. Crank's not really in any position to do anything with it if he does get boosted up, and we're seeing actually Crank's getting kind of dealt with a little bit. We do see the blade come out from Swoosh initially, and he's just jumping all over the place. Colsey, the only person with a kill there, and that's onto Ruby, so it eliminates that nano boost that could have come out from the side of the defense. Logix finding the kill on Decode, and this is kind of back and forth, but nonetheless it looks like Movistar Riders able to finally close this one out. Those last 2 kills onto Talas and Cranks should secure things as they push these guys out, but they're certainly looking for a late kill here onto Envision, and he's just hoping to try to stay alive in this green screen room, and does actually get pushed out. Discord on him, but again, just a little bit too elusive. Oh, Logix still find that kill. That's a very nice pick for them that late into the fight.
Really good pick, because Finzi was really confident the whole time. Logix with a double pulse bomb kill onto Ruby and Cranks, and Finzi has still not had to use his Tactical Visor. This was the Tactical Visor, remember, that he got at the beginning of Hollywood A, and they were able to win that fight. He didn't have to expend it. They were able to win the fight on the card. They didn't have to expend it then either. They just used the Dragon Blade. And then Logix with that huge pick, and now they don't have to do it to take points 2 either.
And we see actually a lot of damage coming out from Logix even still, but I mean the rest of the team is dying off here. Swoosh trying to make the most of it, but he's going to die off as well. And now we finally see X-Alternate Attacks pushing back to secure the guys coming off a short spawn as well. 2:55 remaining on the time bank here for the attacking side of Movistar Riders, and X-Alternate Attacks trying to make the most of it, as of course we haven't seen them hold out too well defensively in the past, and certainly trying to turn things around now. A lot of options here for the attacking side as Movistar Riders have secured the Dragon Blade once again, and that does come out with Finzi's Tactical Visor coming out as well. And Crank's actually going to be able to turn things a little bit, but Logic's again with just so much firepower here with that primary fire coming out from his little pistols there, and we do actually see Movistar Riders able to secure that fight and start pushing the payload forward once again. Pulse Bomb ready for Logix as he's just peering around this corner right now with this emote and just looking for an opportunity to get this Pulse Bomb out, just getting an idea of who's coming up on this high ground. Surely he knows that the Tracer's there, and he's just going to lay into the back of it. Might be able to secure that kill, but not going to be the case. Pulse Bomb again at the ready for him, so he's looking for an opportunity to do just that. Dante with the Transcendence. Pulse Bomb goes out, should take Nex out of the mech. He does indeed get that, and that's going to be a lot here for Fenzi, who's definitely going to be able to take advantage of that in particular. They still find a couple of kills there. One onto Talus, last one there onto Ruby, and again, a lot of pressure coming out from this team here, and a lot could be said about Logic's ability to take out Nex to be able to secure that one for sure.
Oh man, Dante just played that perfectly as well. Decode hit an Earth Shatter and knocked Colsty down onto the floor and was about to pin him, and instead Dante pops his Transcendence to keep him healthy, but also jumps in the way of the pin, so he's invulnerable, doesn't matter, and now sets him up for a great fight on this last point. Only Decode and Nex alive, out of the suit, and Baby D.Va flies, body smacks against the wall, and what a time. Really great time set there, actually. Especially given how slow they were to take the first point, it basically never stopped after that.
Certainly looked a lot better for them once they were able to get into the street phase and really start pushing again. I think a lot could be said about the fact that Fenzi didn't even have to ult until they got into the last stage of the map, and really, I mean, that wasn't, I wouldn't say really kind of required for the most part, but even still, I mean, they just have so much firepower. Logic's absolutely insane Pulse Bomb.
Yeah.
I think he had, what, three of them with incredibly high value. I mean, he got a double. He started things off with a triple in the doorway there, got the stick onto Decode and found 2 more kills as he fell back with his shield falling down as well. Found a double kill later on. And right before that, he also found the kill onto Envision with a very late kill as well. So, I mean, huge value. And then the last one there was onto Nex to take him out of that mech and give Fenzi just all the room in the world to operate. Able to find that kill on the D.Va pilot as well. So, I mean, honestly, Logic's a big reason, I think, why Movistar Riders were able to just run straight through that second and third stage. It really kind of, the pivotal point to me was when Logic was able to get that, that 3-man Pulse Bomb, and they just basically rode that momentum straight to the end.
Yeah, because when you get a triple Pulse Bomb like that, it essentially buys you another ultimate as well, because it means that you don't have to use, for example, either a Genji ultimate or a Soldier ultimate to be able to win that fight. You've just won it with one single stick. Logic pulled it out again and again on that attack. He was so effective. And there's something to be said about the pressure that Nex was under, because he was playing D.Va for a lot of that, and oftentimes you will play kind of a pocket D.Va style where you're trying to peel for your supports and get rid of that Tracer, absorb a lot of her damage, but Nex was put under a lot of pressure because he also had to keep Swoosh in mind, keeps Finzi in mind, and worry about the Soldier 76 damage coming from on top, so he had a lot of work to do here, but the attack is where they tend to do or perform better alternate attacks, so see if they can match that kind of performance.
We'll have to see if they can contest this very aggressive defensive style that Movistar actually has been replicating from Selfless. The same composition, but it just hasn't worked out for them, I would say, on Hollywood so far. I mean, they did well with it in overtime once, but to start things off, they just get cut to pieces by these dive compositions, and I'm not sure why they keep pulling this out, because it just hasn't really been that consistent for them. I think they've seen it work in over in NA, and just, I don't know, they haven't been able to figure it out, it seems, so far, Sideshow.
Yeah, they're getting picked off too quickly. The players are not playing around Dante and Neptuno's heals well enough, it seems, and Finzi needs to be hitting those hooks to give that composition any kind of stability. So now, a really quick, lightning-fast offense after that crumbling forward hold, and alternate attacks on the payload.
Now we do see Decode just jumping in here. A lot of early damage coming out there from X-Alternate Attacks, and Envision actually going to find that kill on Fenzi. We should see X-Alternate Attacks establish a control at this point and moving this payload forward, and they do indeed. as we do see Swoosh jumping in. He's going to be killed off, and now X-Alternate Attack's looking a lot better here on the attacking side, but I think it has more to do with the fact that Movistar Riders is again running a composition that I just don't think that they're very stable on.
It requires some great individual talent to be able to pull off this composition where you've got the Soldier 76 and the Tracer and the Roadhog, and they're in that kind of snowball situation now where there's a lot of ultimates up on the board for X-Alternate Attacks as well. Swoosh pulls out his Nano Visor and just gets immediately hit onto the floor with the Earth Shatter, so neutralize that completely, but they're still kind of trading in this fight. It's going reasonably well.
We see Swoosh being contested a bit, does get picked off there, and Vision able to find that kill alongside Talos, and I think Cranks was involved in that as well. We do see them pushing these guys back, and again, the defensive side of Movistar Riders just not looking solid at all so far. Soundberry coming out for X-Alternate Attacks, trying to secure this one as Colsty actually unleashes with an Earth Shatter there, and he's just pushing everybody off to the side. And Vision with a Pulse Bomb throws it out, doesn't get the kill on Swoosh, a nice projected barrier onto him, and it seems finally as if Movistar Riders are able to push these guys back. Should be able to find this kill on Ruby as well. And now 350 remaining on this time bank, certainly looking good for X-Alternate Attacks, who is pretty consistent on their attacking side. But Finzi making that swap over to the Zarya, maybe this is at least one way for them to try to get back into this one, because certainly I think that last style of defense just wasn't really working, and they just very unstable, not very composed at all, and weren't really performing very well with it at all.
But now the ultimate percentage is way in favor of Movistar Riders, and although Decode is just about to get up to his Earth Shatter, what? They use the Transcendence in this fight as well. Surely this is not a fight that they're going to win. I think that's a big mistake from Ruby to use that, despite the fact they got the pick onto Colsty. There's going to be a Nano Boost coming out on defense. They've got the spawn advantage. Swoosh and Finzi so close to their ultimates as well. It's going to have to be a huge attack to be able to win this one.
And we actually saw Swoosh getting taken down pretty low. Does actually get picked off there by Nex, and Finzi killing himself off there with a little bit of some right-click action. Not going to be able to use the Graviton into this next fight, which certainly they were looking for to be able to turn things back around. And now we're going to be seeing, with a lot of time to work with here, 4:15 at the moment, X-Alternate Attacks with the opportunity to really kind of make the most of the advantage that they've been given by themselves.
They didn't use any ults to try and defend that, the most defendable part of Hollywood, apart from the very end. And they don't expend their Nano Boost to try and keep Colsty or Swoosh alive, and then chain that into one of their ultimates that they would have had up. They don't keep Finzi alive with it either, and then he would have been able to have a Graviton, they would have been able to stall for way longer. They just give it up and lose, and now they're all the way back, and they have to hold now for 3 minutes 43. That's a long time. I think that's a big mistake from Movistar Riders not to commit there.
And not only that, but given the dead time, they also give up a lot of ult charge as well. And we do see Swoosh trying to turn things back around with a Nano Visor. Does find 2 kills, particularly one onto Cranks, who did pop his Dragon Blade himself, but not going to be able to find anything with that. Logic's with yet another Pulse Bomb here. They're backing these guys up. Should be able to find the kill on these supports, and I think Ruby should die off as well, as Swoosh is pretty close, but nonetheless, that is not going to happen. And we will see Movistar Riders pulling back here. 3:10 remaining on the time bank. And not a lot of space, actually, not a lot of ground to cover left for X-Alternate Attacks. Really, they only need, I mean, kind of one fight, and then just to hold off the stagger that comes in from the defense to be able to take this one.
Sound Barrier used into a Graviton. That's going to mostly cancel each other out. There's a Transcendence as well, which keeps everybody healthy, allows them to get the picks onto Neptuno and Finzi. Ruby's dropping weak, but Talos is trying to help his Zen out. Keeps him alive, and now there's only 3 players alive for this defense. Swoosh as well, going to be focused down. Neptuno's so close to that Sound Barrier, but if he gets focused, he might not be able to build it up properly, and he's going to die before the spawners come in as well.
And the Pulse Bomb comes out. That's going to be a kill onto Decode, as we do see Colsty jumping in here as well. And he gets the kill on Cranks, and this re-engage actually looking pretty nice for Movistar Riders, and Vision able to finally kill off Colsty, but he's in a little bit of a danger himself. They find the kill onto Swoosh, and things are definitely looking a little bit better here. Neptuno there with a Sound Barrier coming out. Logic's now trying to turn things back around, and Neptuno able to help out with that kill on Nex, as we do see as well an Earth Shatter coming out. That's Decode entering the fight yet again here. Logic's able to help Swoosh find that kill, and Vision coming back with one of his own. This is a bloodbath coming out from both sides. Movistar look to be able to secure this one, and they do gain control once again here. battling back from the spawns, somehow able to turn this back around.
And they've got the nano visor to work with here as well. Finzi flirting with Orisa there just for a second, but has decided to go over to D.Va. And this attack, they don't really have many ultimates. This nano visor is going to be crucial. If they can block it, they might be able to re-engage. But if it gets any picks, then Movistar are going to be in a great position to hold.
And Decode's barrier is pretty low here, so, I mean, it could come out pretty soon. Certainly, I mean, he's going to get aggressive. His barrier should be coming back up a little bit here and cracking a little bit, but if they can get that down a little bit and then actually deal with... Oh, they actually do manage to push these guys back pretty effectively. And really, I mean, it was just a slow push, just maintained their spacing, and that was pretty much it. Swoosh just laying in a little bit of damage in the back. Next should be taken out. Ooh, a nice little bit of healing coming out from Ruby to save him and keep him up. 45 seconds remaining here. And what do you make of this, given what both teams have to push in, given their arsenal, I guess?
Well, because that was a slow push, they've actually allowed X-Alternate attacks to generate their ultimates. If they'd gone in for the wipe there and just tried to delay a lot of time while they were spawning, then Ruby and Nex wouldn't have generated their ults as quickly. But now they've got a nanovisor to go the other way around as well. So Swoosh's position up top, he's looking for them to commit and trying to get the wipe from behind as Decode's shields in the other position.
And Nex right now looking for a little bit of an opportunity to go with his attack visor. He pulls it out. Actually, both sides pull it out. Swoosh with the nano boost has a little bit of an advantage. He's already found one of his own. Nex pushed out, not going to be able to find anything. Misses that Helix rocket as well onto Neptuno. And it seems like Movistar Riders should be able to close this out, and they do. And what looked like convincing fashion on the attack, certainly things swapped back around a little bit, but Movistar Riders taking the 2-0 over alternate attacks. And, you know, 2 days ago, I remember saying something along the lines of X-alternate attacks going to be going 0-5 in the grouping stage more than likely. But I think a lot can be said about the fact that this is still a very strong team. I mean, if they pull together, if they get in there and they pull together and really kind of nail down their ultimate usage, nail down the decision making, I think they're going to be a very, very strong team because they definitely have proven they have the talent.
Yeah, they're certainly a promising team. They're kind of up and coming. This roster has only been together for about a week because they just made a change and brought in Envision. Envision and Decode used to play for Oslo Lions, who were like another... they were a full Norwegian team that were not quite the same level, a little bit below, kind of tier 2/tier 3, whereas X-Alternate Attacks are really trying to break in and contest these tier 2, tier 1 teams like Movistar Riders at the moment. And for the... They look promising. There are some obvious areas of weakness, and Movistar Riders were just playing the bread and butter a little bit better. You know, they had their ultimates. They knew exactly what they were going to do in each fight with them, position them nicely. The counterplay wasn't quite there from X-Alternate Attacks, but there's promise for sure.
So going into this next matchup, which will be our final matchup of the day, that is going to be Dignitas versus Singularity, and this is the matchup that really matters if you're looking long term towards the playoffs, where it's basically going to come down to seeding, because these two teams are now sitting in the group stage, I think tied up now at 2-2. So this is really going to matter a lot, because you talked about before how the seeding is going to be a big deal going into this tournament, because it's going to determine who you're going to be playing, obviously, in the first stage, and that's going to mean a lot if you're looking for that prizing. Because I think it's only the top 4 teams that wind up getting prizing, and there's 8 teams going into the tournament. So you want to at least win your first game in the playoffs. But nonetheless, give me your 10-second impression of Dignitas versus Singularity before we go to a break real quick.
Dignitas looked pretty promising. They've got some areas of weakness, but they're starting to show themselves, get back into it. Singularity Ninjas got a good record so far, 2-2, but their first wins when they were looking good were against the lower level teams. So this is an opportunity for both teams to establish their position and end up going against E United rather than NIP in the playoffs. I mean, either way, it's not that good, but they'll probably prefer playing against E United than NIP.
All right, you guys are watching EU Group B. This is day 5 of the Overwatch PIT Championship. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to have the final matchup between Team Dignitas and Singularity coming up next. Don't go anywhere.